Ahoy, and welcome to Really Seriously For Real. The Frasers have set sail in search of young Ian after he was taken from Silky Island. It's not like anything will go wrong, right? Oh, come on. How long have you been watching this? Let's go. So I need to start off by saying this was my least favorite episode this far. That doesn't mean it was bad, just not as good as previous episodes this season. So obviously, please sound off in the comments below because I am more than curious of what all of you think. So let's discuss. So, what is the definition of doldrums? It's a state or period of inactivity, stagnation, or depression, which is characteristic of every character in this episode. It's also an equatorial region of the Atlantic Ocean with calms, sudden storms, and light, unpredictable winds. Well, let's take note of that. The first thing you notice is the obvious change in the theme song, more akin to the island beat of drums and brighter colors. The episode opens with Claire and Jamie getting the rundown of the ship Artemis that they'll be taking to catch up to the vessel that took young Ian. They believe it's headed to Jamaica. Now, they're joined by Leslie and Hayes, who seem like a redo of Rupert and Angus, R.I.P. So since I'm kind of territorial, I was initially put off by them, but I got over it. We also hear that Willoughby and Fergus are also on board with some baggage from Lollybrock. We get a good representation of the superstitious nature of the crew as we learn touching a horseshoe on deck on this ship is considered good luck, though they'll need all the extra help they can get because apparently redheads are bad luck and women too. And this ship has two women, that is. Claire and Marcelly, or Leary 2.0. Fergus has brought her on board because they were handfast, which simply means they were promised to each other in front of witnesses, just not legally married in the eyes of the law. So Papa Jamie was none too happy. It's funny because Jamie is Fergus's adopted father and Marcelly's stepfather. Actually, now that I think about it, Jamie may not have been a father to his own children, but he's making up for it in so many ways. So despite Fergus and Marcelly's attempt to persuade Jamie to give his blessing, he doesn't, and instead endeavors to block any possibility of some action between them by arranging their sleeping arrangements where Jamie and Fergus will room together, and yeah, you guessed it, Claire and Marcelly will room together. So, okay, this is a tough one because I get it. As her father, he feels a responsibility to protect her virtue, his words. But forcing Claire and Marcelly to room together? No, it's downright wrong. Regardless if Claire was already married to Jamie and the story is everyone thought everybody was dead and Leary tried to have Claire killed, and let's not forget that wacky voodoo doll she put under their bed in season 1. Regardless of all that, it's just wrong forcing Leary's child to room with the other woman. That just literally irritated me. Rightfully, Marcelly's loyalty would be to her mother. And then on the flip side, it's like a punishment to Claire because the girl is already name-calling and giving her side eye. The situation was just awful and I felt bad for everybody. There was a scene where they were readying themselves for bed and Marcelly tells Claire the bottom bunk is the larger one, and she's welcome to it. Claire then says, nicely, that she didn't have to get on her good graces just so she would put in a good word with Jamie. It's really none of my business, she says. Why couldn't she just say, thanks, that was kind of you. Maybe go into how difficult she understands this situation may be, etc., etc. It was just a missed opportunity for some healing. It's a long trip in cramped quarters, and instead, Marcelly bites back saying she ruined her family and now it's none of your business? See how easily everything goes sideways? The other problem that Jamie faced was his seasickness. Once that boat started rocking, it was downhill. So Claire began making ginger tea to combat Jamie's sickness. But let me tell you, every time I've been pregnant, I've been sick as a dog, and ginger tea and any other supposed cure or aid does not work at all. So watching poor Jamie with his head buried in a bucket, I felt his pain, which is why I call bull when we see him later scarfing down some grub, looking happy, healthy, and hungry. So I knew it couldn't be the tea, and it wasn't. Instead, Claire walks in on Mr. Willoughby giving Jamie an acupuncture treatment. During the voyage, there were some mishaps with the crew. One where a member was knocked over the head by some type of apparatus, forcing the crew to start to wonder if everyone had touched the horseshoe for luck at the start of the journey. Claire lightly scoffed at the idea that a mere accident would be confused with bad luck. In a subsequent dinner with the ship's captain, Captain Rains, he explained that it didn't matter whether either one of them thought the idea of superstitions was silly. It only mattered that the crew believed it. The captain indulged the idea to avoid mutiny on the ship, which would be put to the test during the voyage when they lost the wind. But we'll come back to that in a moment, because first we need to highlight a sweet moment as Claire and Jamie stand on the deck, bathed by moonlight, staring out to the sea that can only be described as a flat calm, giving me flashbacks to Titanic as the ship glided on the still waters towards unfortunate peril as Jack and Rose stumbled their way onto the deck full of carefree love. Guys, this is like my favorite movie, sorry. And here was Jamie and Claire nestled into each other, staring at the moon. Claire telling Jamie that men walked on the moon before she came back to the past, and she recited lines from the book Goodnight Moon, a popular children's book that even I had the pleasure of reading to my kids as well. Claire told Jamie it was Brianna's favorite, showing how deeply she missed her and how much it hurt her not to be with her daughter. The story advances, mentioning the days turning into weeks and the wind still hadn't returned, making the sailors nervous. When a large amount of their water supply became contaminated, foul, and undrinkable, it made it hard for Captain Rains to keep his crew calm. They decided someone didn't touch the horseshoe at the start of the voyage, and they thought it was, well, I don't know which was which, Leslie or Hayes, but it was one of them. Even he couldn't remember if he did or not. He was branded the Jorna by the crew and marked for death by being thrown overboard. Yeah, that makes sense. Kill a man to appease the cosmos. But who am I to argue with 18th century maritime superstitions? So, this poor guy drinks himself into a tizzy, climbs to the top of the sails, and contemplates ending it all as the crew cries out for his demise. Claire shouts for the captain to intervene, and he's like, nope, because if he steps in, he might be the one thrown overboard, or both of them. So Jamie gallantly clambers up to his friend, gently talking him down as Willoughby takes in his surroundings and keys in on a low-flying bird in the distance. Willoughby, up to this point, has been so underutilized, though in this episode they gave him more to do, drawing on the Zen appeal and almost mystical nature with the beautiful Asian wind and string compositions that honestly bring me calm in my personal life, playing in the background, like his theme song. In a previous scene, as Willoughby scribed Chinese words on the deck that slowly disappeared in the wind, he told Claire, who had happened by, that they were poems, and he clutched a roll of papers holding the story of his life in China, words he wouldn't share with others, as that would mean he would need to let it go. Fast forward to this moment on deck, as the crew grew more and more angry, calling for the death of this man who they believed didn't touch the horseshoe for luck. Willoughby forcefully rings the bell, grabbing everyone's attention as he now chooses to tell his story. He states He was known as the Bird of Fire, who caught the attention of the emperor's second wife with his poetry. She asked him to be a part of her household, but this meant he would have to be a eunuch. But he poetically and beautifully asserted that he loved women too much to commit to such a permanent situation. To deny such a request would be a death wish, so he fled, only to find that this new land he was in did not value nor respect him. This revealed the immense depression he felt, and he began to step higher on the deck, but instead of jumping, he released his papers in the wind, revealing the quickness of air that had returned shortly, followed by rain, leading to the joyous uproar of the men and the forgotten trial for the Jorna. When asked how he knew, Willoughby revealed the birds fly low when the air is heavy, leading to rain. Okay, so I understand it was a great way to lull the crew into a calm, literally before the storm, but I felt it was a little displaced, like it wasn't the moment to release such a personal story to the wind. Although I guess, I don't know, you know what, the more I think about it, he probably felt so undervalued here, yet in that moment, his words saved a life and brought calm. All right, maybe the scene did work. What did you guys think? The Frasers celebrate by stumbling their way below deck to enjoy a quick romp and a snuggle, although Claire briefly speaks about her decision to come back. I wish they took more time to talk about their relationship, but I get it. The show only has about an hour, so fine. When they go topside, they find out a British battleship has been following the Artemis for some time and then fires a cannon to get their attention. The captain explains they need men and they could possibly poach anyone they wanted, including Jamie. When the acting captain, Thomas Leonard, climbs aboard, it's clear he's incredibly young. You learn his own captain and more have died due to a fierce outbreak on their ship. Claire goes over to their ship to assess the patients, and I don't know, between Jamie's lurching into a bucket earlier and Claire scrunching her face due to the smells and the sound of ill men in the background, I was just glad I wasn't eating at the time. So she reports to the captain that it's typhoid and can be managed enough to keep the healthy unaffected, and offers to help get them organized before she goes back to the Artemis. The acting captain calls in a Mr. Pound to assist. First of all, he looks like he's barely a teenager. It was starting to seem like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys commandeered the ship. And while Claire was down in the galley dealing with the abrasive chef, the ship begins to move. Claire rushes topside where Captain Leonard tells her that basically desperate times call for desperate measures. But both ships are going to Jamaica anyway, so no need to worry. Well, it's anything but calm in this ocean, and geez, can we please get a break? So like I said, this was my least favorite episode so far, but I know it's all necessary to get us to the next issue. And then boom, there we are. So what did you think? Sound off in the comments below, and if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell so you're always notified when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, guys.